Hey, everybody, thanks for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah. Tonight's the official launch of The Art of Sneakers, Volume 1. And we got our copies in-house. They're back at the merch bar. I'm going to do some quick housekeeping. This book was like a year in the works. We reached out to 20 artists, including Jeff, to be a part of this collaboration.
I'm not an artist.
Yeah, mad artist, mad designer, mad collaborator. It was the work of a lot of people. A lot of people worked on this. So quick thanks to everybody at Sneaker Inc. and everybody who worked on this book. You know, this book is to support the arts. And the most important thing really is we call it Volume 1 because we hope that by the time we get to Volume 5, the people that bought Volume 1, the kids that were 14, 15, 16, 12, are the artists that we're commissioning to work in Volume 5. So that's the goal. We partnered with Inner City Arts, so they're our official charity sponsor. So 10% of all proceeds from the art in the book, the merch, everything goes to Inner City Arts to support that cause. You know, we set out to tell great stories, and these 19 artists have amazing stories. And Jeff, you know, came on board to help write the foreword for the book and just did an amazing job. So I highly recommend you read it. It's a picture book, but there's a little bit of reading. Anyway, the whole idea with this was to really elevate sneaker art and street art to fine art. So I think if you go through the gallery, you see some fine art in there. At least that's what I think. So anyway, so on the panel, we've got Jeff. Jeff Staple, as everyone knows, longtime Sneaker Inc. collaborator. You know, he's worked with every major brand on the planet, and he he's known for this little thing that happened in 2005, little riot. You know, he caused that. And Aymar Abrea, Elmer, he's Stomperhaus. Yeah, right, Stomperhaus.
Thank you guys for coming.
In the house. And Steph Morris, like insane illustrator. That I just feel like super lucky to be sitting here. I'm not going to do much more talking. I'm going to let these guys go because they're the artists, and I just want to celebrate what they do and let them talk. So just what would be great is if I think, you know, I'm going to start with Jeff because there's a great quote in the book. And he says, you know, about these artists and what sneakers and sneaker culture and street culture and street art does is, you know, he says that the sneaker is their muse, a source of inspiration to express themselves creatively. And that's what these guys did in the book, the 19 artists did in the book. Oh, and by the way, just really quickly, these are two of the artists in the book, and Jeff, how many people are in the book? How many artists are in the house tonight? Raise your hands. Look around. Like, there's a lot of artists here. So make sure you pick up your book and get them to sign it, because they're not. I don't know they're going to be around. Like, getting all these people in one place is tough. So anyway, so I just love that idea, and I'd love for you to kind of talk to them a little bit about that.
I mean, when Ivan asked me to write the foreword, you know, I was super honored that there's this whole entire, like, let's call it a subculture for now, because if you look at sneaker art as the, like, original culture, and then all of you guys are inspired by that. I was inspired by that. We were always aspiring to be able to, like, touch a Nike or a Jordan or Adidas, or like one day be able to go to Beaverton or like Germany and see how the magic sauce is made, you know? And I think a lot of us maybe took the path of like, screw trying to like go on that yellow brick road. Like, I'm going to take what's inspiring me and make my own road out of it. You know, I was just taking an Uber over here, and the driver pulls up and he's like, "Oh yeah, Art of the Sneakers. I've been reading about this thing." I was like, "Really?" Like, this was like just like an old accountant looking guy, you know? And he's like, "You know, I just heard that like a business opened up that cleans sneakers, and this business is like a multi-million-dollar." I was like, "Yeah, Jason Mark, I know," you know? And he's just like, it's crazy that like other businesses are coming out of the business of sneaker passion, you know? And I think that was the coolest part. That's what I meant by when I said this is like sneaker culture is the muse, but everyone's able to express their own thing. And to me, because I'm sort of like half artist, half business person at heart, it's not just one thing that you're able to like express yourself, because it's cool. Like, if you're able to do some art in like your bedroom and no one gets to see that art, but everyone in this room has figured out a way to take that expression, but then publicize it in some way, or maybe even monetize it in some way, which is truly powerful.
Absolutely. You guys want to add to that? A little bit about like inspiration and where it comes from for you guys?
Jeff covered everything.
No, I did not cover everything.
Crazy.
Because I'll get specific with each of you.
Well, Stomperhaus here, he just told me stage left that he took my Skillshare class in 2016.
Your first Skillshare class, and I was like super hyped to be a part of it, and it's just crazy because like I didn't get very far in the class because I was still developing.
He's a bad student.
Yeah, I was still developing.
No, so the point of the Skillshare class, so people know, is like there must have been like 10,000 students. No, there was 30,000 students in that class. And then there was a little bit of a competition where I said, like, we're going to select to a top 100, and then a top 25, and then a top 10. And then the top 10 came to New York to mentor and tutor with me for an entire day. So when he told me that I took your Skillshare class, I was like,
It's an intense class, man. Like,
yeah, I was like.
And I was rushing just to get everything in, turned it.
Well, I was like, how far did you
time.
make it? And you're like, oh, not that far.
Not that
But
far.
it's
but
because
I made it here. I'm still talking with you.
I know,
here
but now he's on stage. It's so dope. And I think it's cool that, like, what he did was, you guys, if you take a look at his art, you'll see, like, his incredible style. But when he took the Skillshare class, he was making a brand that wasn't using the style that he's known for today. So you're experimenting at the time.
I was working with clothing when I was doing the Skillshare.
But I just told you that if you put your art on the clothing, you would have been in the top 3 for sure. But it took the last 3 years for you to hone your craft and develop your skill to get to that level. So that's props.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah. Thanks. It's crazy that I'm sitting here with you.
So, I think, for me, I dig into a ton of research when I'm looking at artists and what they do and get inspired by their work. I'd love to know a little bit about, sort of your path. Both of you. And I think you should start first, Elmer. Talk a little bit about your path. Like, where did it start for you? And then how did you get to where you are now doing, like, just incredible detailed digital and graphic art? And, if you look at the art that he's doing, it's caricature on another level. And you're also moving into a space of sculpting as well now, right? So you're taking those amazing designs and drawings and turning them into 3D models. So tell us a little bit about your path.
Yeah, so Stomperhaus. I'll just start with the name. I grew up in a small city in the Bay Area called Fremont. And there's a good car culture there. Muscle cars, everything. And at a young age, I came upon an illustration by Ed Big Daddy Roth, illustrator from the 1950s. He's the one that blows up the rear tires of the muscle cars and all that stuff, and has all the monsters with bulging eyes coming out. And I came across an illustration. It was a 54 gasser Chevy called the Ford Stomper, and the word Stomper just kind of just latched on me. And I was just like, wow, that is like a heavy, badass word. Fast forward 12 years later, I found love for the Bauhaus the Bauhaus movement. And those 2 words represent 2 big times in my life that was very impactful for me in art.
That's so cool.
And then I started Stomperhaus because, like, while I was in college, I didn't like what they were teaching me. And I didn't really pay attention, but I liked what was going on in the fashion world. So I did a lot of fashion illustration, and like just the raw energy of fashion illustrations got me thinking like, hey, is there a gap in any industry right now where I can apply the raw energy? And it was sneakers, and that's how Stomperhaus came.
Were you a sneakerhead at that point?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it started the sneakerhead thing started when Dunks was a big thing. So Pigeon Dunks, the first one. And I don't know, like, even growing up, my mom would dress me in Jordans, so I was a Jordan baby. But like, at the same time, I don't know where I'm going with this.
and that led to this explosion of art that you create.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Steph?
For me, I feel that everything was kind of by accident, to be honest. I've always been into footwear. I've been a sneakerhead since I was young. All my pocket money would go on sneakers. And I was looking for some Nike Cortez artwork to put on my wall one day, and I couldn't find anything. So I thought, I'll give it a go and draw it myself. I've always been quite creative, always good at art, that kind of thing. Drawing was always quite natural for me. So I thought I'll give it a go and see what happens. I never expected anything to come of it. I had an Instagram account. I had maybe 30 followers, whatever. And then I drew the Nike Cortez. I put it up on Instagram, and the next day I had like 1,000 followers, and everything just got shared and shared and shared. And that kind of planted the seed for me to really explore this kind of path, because I really enjoyed the process of it. Creating something very hyper-realistic for me has always been my style. So it was just a natural kind of thing for me to do and explore, really. Yeah.
So when I was researching artists and I came across Steph's work, we've had one phone call together a long time ago when we were putting this book together, and I was like, hey, you know what I was thinking? Like, it would be great if you made like a deck of cards. And she was like, you know how long it would take me to draw 52 illustrations of shoes? How long does it take?
5,000 hours it would take.
How long is it? How long is one of your? I mean, her illustrations are color pencil.
All hand drawn. Average about 100 hours to do.
For one.
Yeah, about 2 weeks. Yeah, solid work. Non-stop. So.
And so Jeff and Steph have a collaboration. You guys should talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
It's in the.
I want to hear it from your point of view, because I can't remember exactly. But we have collaborated.
Yeah, you reached out for the.
Okay, I reached out.
The pigeon for the pigeon piece, and you wanted to incorporate all the iconic dunks, and
Didn't we come up with that idea together? Or did
yeah,
I?
it was like through WhatsApp, right?
We
kind of sent some pictures and.
But wait, okay, so I guess I DM'd you.
Yeah, you DM'd you on Instagram, yeah,
and then, but I didn't have the idea right away. I'm sure.
No, I went away and researched, and then I sent you a few ideas, and then we kind of refined it from there, and then that's when we came up with the final idea for the.
So we've collaborated. There's like an original. There's prints that we did. There's a T-shirt that we just dropped last week or so, and we've never met before. I just met her here for the first time ever. We've only ever WhatsApped. I've never even spoken to her, but she's insane. She's like, if you don't follow her, you have to. If you see her work, when I look at the way she does her artwork and the process, it's literally insanity. Like, it's a crazy person.
It's very long. It's a very long.
It's like if you had a pencil and you just did this for 100 hours.
Very repetitive, yeah. It's really intense. It's intense.
Like, if they locked you up in Guantanamo Bay, you'd be totally fine.
Oh yeah, I'd be fine.
You'll find some pigment.
Yeah, just give me a stick. I'm good. I'll just be on this wall.
It's therapy for me. Yeah, it's so therapeutic for me.
They'll probably release you after your piece is done too.
Yeah.
No, it's really impressive. That's why, and I'm always really like inspired by people who just get lost in their art, and you obviously do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what we did was we took the 4 Nike dunks. And there's a nice segue here because of how important the dunks were to, the golden era of sneaker culture, really, right?
It's like the golden
era. Yeah. And there happens to be 4 Nike dunks that bear pigeons on them, right? The OG pigeon dunk, the What the Dunk, the black pigeon, and then the panda pigeon. And sort of, it just came through conversation over WhatsApp, but how would it look if you were to hypothetically slice those into 4s and then Frankenstein and merge them together into one, and then like in what order should they go in and stuff like that, and so you sent me sort of like a rendering of it.
So it was like chronological order,
We decided on chronological. I think you actually had an order that was a little bit different that maybe color-wise looked better, but then I vaguely recall saying like we should make it chronological.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And then she was showing me all the behind-the-scenes images of it. It's so dope.
Love it.
Yeah. WhatsApp collabs.
Is the shirt here?
What's that?
Is the shirt here? Like
the shirt's not. The shirt's not here. It's sold out immediately.
Yeah.
But
I tried to get one.
I
asked.
I kind of want.
But we have the print here.
Yeah, we have the prints here.
Okay.
And they're just absolutely stunning.
Yes. Shout out Mimi Yoon.
Yeah. Where is she?
Shout out Mimi Yoon for helping us make the prints a reality here.
Yeah, she's our quality control on this. Any of the art that you see blown up, large canvases inside, Mimi really came through and helped us out and made sure that they were like premium quality. So thank you for that. It's a family. This book is a collective, and it's a family. Like everybody in here is, and we've got. What's interesting is it just continues to evolve. So as we start to look at volume 2, we've got the Can I Kick It brand in the house from Atlanta. They came in. Dead Stock Coffee moved over there. Ian's in the house tonight, and so they're doing coffee. I'm trying to think. Rejuvenators in the house doing shoe cleaning. Another collaborator in there. There he is in the back. So yeah, it's a real community and family. I like to think of sneakers as like the great global equalizer. Everyone, whether doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter where you're from, what language you speak, but everybody can relate to that, and we just love that it's sort of that ground level thing.
Can Rejuvenator clean the adapts? Can you do the adapts, Rejuvenator?
That's a good question.
All right. I don't want you to short circuit the motor that's inside there.
So what's next for you guys? What are you guys working on next?
I want to keep the digital thing going, and I want to start with having a digital app and like having it as a coloring book, because I fill out sketchbooks, so many sketchbooks, but I don't want to color them because it just takes so much time. I know how that feels, but I want a digital app, and it's gonna be probably a coloring book app, and I just want to influence and inspire the next generation of artists, designers, sneaker collectors, and enthusiasts. Really.
Is there an ultimate collab for you?
Do you actually still want to collab with like sneaker companies?
I could, yeah. I'm always down.
Both of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering because like you've sort of both of you have carved out your own lanes. It's almost like there's like a certain point where they need you more than you need them. Like you're building it to that point where like they should just. I don't know what I'm saying.
I think Ronnie Feig for me would be the dream. Yeah, he actually reached out maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. When I first started off, so I was blown away at that point. But yeah, anything to materialize with him would be insane. I really respect him as a designer, and what he does, I think is amazing. So that would be cool for me.
Great guy. He wanted to illustrate a book for him. Was it?
No, it was. I don't know. We never got to that point. Okay. He reached out on Twitter, which I never use. I have like 2 followers on Twitter. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
What are you working on next?
I've got ComplexCon this weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna have a booth there. So if anyone's there, come say hi. Come say hi to me. Come check me out.
What are you doing in the booth?
We're gonna be doing something.
Other than us.
So I've got prints for sale. There's some originals there for people to check out, and yeah, I just want to meet people and connect and say hi and talk people through what I do. And I think it's cool for people to see the work up close, because it's very different to on screen. It's very different to a digital kind of format. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it would be cool to meet people and yeah, reach out and say hi. Yeah.
And we're filming on Monday.
Oh, we're filming on Monday, yeah. Yeah, we're doing that thing, yeah.
That thing for a few hours.
Yeah, we're doing that thing, yeah. So that would be cool.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah, one of the things that we did when we decided to make the book was, and you'll have to look for this in 2020, is we filmed every artist in their space, working on their art, really beautiful cinematic close-up details and interviews on their stories, their backgrounds and their bios. And so each of them, if you go to the Art of Sneakers website and Instagram, you'll start to see little biographies on their pieces. And eventually next year, what we want to do is put together a full-length feature documentary about the making of the book and the work of the artists and how it all came together in the making of the space. So that's a looking ahead to 2020 for us. What else? What else should we talk about?
Audience Q&A.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Q&A.
Q&A. Anybody got anything for these guys? I'd love to. Yeah.
With sneakers as the great equalizer, how does somebody just like creative in the world networking with someone like how do the top and the bottom come together? How does someone connect?
I think with an idea, you just have to have the right idea. For me, The book was really, I was being introduced to so many people over 2 years of building a media brand around sneakers and telling stories that it just seemed like the natural progression to reach out to artists. I was always influenced by art. For me, I was drawing like Garfield and Ferraris and Star Wars when I was a kid, and I dropped out of college as a photographer and just started making stuff. And for this, it was a lifelong dream to publish a book, and it started out as we were going to self-publish and do a short run, whatever we could afford, 250 copies. And then we got picked up by Powerhouse Publishing in New York and in Brooklyn, and we're doing 30,000 copies. So, you can get it. Yeah, you can get it. You literally like Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble. Maybe you'll see it at the airports. I don't know, but it's super exciting, and it started just as an idea, and we just made it happen, and we just started doing it and telling people what we were doing. And there was only of the artists that we reached out to in the first round, there was only one artist that I couldn't get for the book. And it was Reina Koyano, because she was just too busy. I couldn't get a hold of her. But the other thing I'll say about the book that was it was a labor of love as well, because artists as artists, and we can talk about this, it's all last minute. Like you take it to the last second till you absolutely have to deliver, and trying to get 3 pieces of original art from 19 artists on time to print and say like, no, I need the bio photo last print tomorrow, or we have to pull it out of the book. That was a process, but it was with great pleasure that it got done and made, and we delivered and we printed and they're here. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about the equalizing point is like just the example is sitting on the stage, like the fact that he took a Skillshare class of mine.
We all started out from the bottom. You know? There's no ego. I think for me, it's really it's nice for people who are at the bottom. I don't class myself as better than anyone else. I think it's you just have to be confident and be very passionate about what you do, and that will carry you forward in so many ways. So yeah.
Couldn't agree more. More stuff? Questions? Ideas? Thoughts? What were you guys drawing when you were kids? When you were little? What were you drawing?
I was drawing monsters and sneakers, really. Yeah.
I was drawing comic books. I was making up, like I was a collector, so I loved X Factor, X-Men, stuff like that. And I would make up like a new mutant character and give it like its own powers and stuff like that.
I drew a Japanese garden, and I tried to sell it to my mum for, I think, £100 when I was like 8 years old. So she didn't buy it. But yeah.
You got art and business in you.
Yeah. Naturally. I had it from a young age, yeah.
Golly.
Tell me about your, I always love to, dig in and dive into artists' spaces and what inspires them in their space. Tell me about your workspaces.
My workspace is pretty messy. I mean, everything in my mind is very complex, and like as long as like I know where the mess is, then it's pretty organized. And I don't know, I just like to experiment. Like as being an artist, I feel like experimenting with new mediums, like such as like clay or like cement or other things. I feel like as long as you keep experimenting and coming up with new ideas, you'll be fine as an artist. And sticking with sneakers, I don't know how long I'll be doing these sneakers for long, because it's very commercial to me. I just want my art to exist, really, And I kind of want to get away from commercial art, but I do enjoy sneakers a lot, so I keep going.
For me, it's the opposite, I'd say. I'm very OCD. I hoover every morning before I start my work. I can't have a cluttered desk. Everything needs to be in its space. If anything gets on the paper, I have to start again. So I'm very controlled, and I like everything to be in its place. That's just how I work, yeah. I need to have like a decluttered mind to be able to think. So, yeah.
I miss having a studio.
Yeah.
Because now I have a company. And so I have 2 offices.
Stressful.
Yeah, I have one office with 20 people that work on the clothing line. I have another office with 8 people that work on the design studio. Yeah. I have a place in New York. I have a place in LA, and it's just like
you're insane, man.
It's more management than art.
I think that would be too much for me.
Yeah, But it's always, I think, like the artist's biggest sort of like struggle is you want to create art, you want to be able to make a living from your art, and then once that ball starts to roll, it starts with one assistant, and then that assistant wants a raise, and then they want benefits, and then you're like, okay, we got to sell more art to be able to get you your raise, and then it starts, you know, your assistant needs an assistant, and then before you know it, you have 45 employees, and someone's suing you for like an HR related matter, and you're like, how did this happen, you know? Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
How do you scale? I mean, with what you do, are you totally sustained with the art that you make?
Not really. Like, after hearing what Jeff does, like, honestly, I was about to be like, yo, delegating is like my weakness, and I hate like teaching my techniques to other people because it's just like, yo, this is my baby.
Yeah, I would be very uncomfortable with that, I think.
Oh, wow.
Passing that over to someone else. I'm a control freak. I like to do everything myself and know that it's done right. Yeah.
And it's scary.
So I wouldn't be able to do that, I don't think.
I used to be like that, but now I'm at the point where I actually test my art directors and creative directors, and we're given a project, and I have them do it, and they'll do like 3 versions, and I'll say which one is the one that I like, the way that I would have done it, and they're like B, and I'm like correct, and I get so much satisfaction that this like tutelage kind of thing happened. Like they were able to do it exactly in the way that I would have wanted. And sometimes, of course, I want them to express it in their own way. But that whole concept of delegation is something that like it took me like probably 7 years to like be able to digest that. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to let you do it. And you might do it better than me. And I have to be okay with that.
And I know that's the step that I have to learn too. And it's crazy.
Hours of work. When are you most productive?
For me, I get up and go straight away. I don't like to do too much before I crack into work. So, quick coffee, breakfast, and I'll start straight away and maybe work 10 to 12 hours a day. I'll have a quick break in between, maybe go outside, walk the dog, but that'll be it. It's very intense for me, but that's how I like it. So
if you said how many hours per drawing? So that's like 10 days per?
It depends on the size, but between 100 to 200 hours.
Right. So weeks on a drawing, on
weeks.
a single drawing.
It's about 2 weeks per drawing, which is.
And your time?
Me, I wake up, I'll have my coffee, and then I have to exercise. Like, it just gets me in the right mind, and like the flow state is easier to get into after like either I cycle, climb, or like surf. So I just got to exercise before I actually start being creative, because being in nature actually helps me find new things to discover. Yeah.
I still do, after 20 years plus of doing this, I still pull 3 shifts a day. I do a morning and afternoon, then I have dinner, and then there is a 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift. And it's Saturday and Sundays, it's holidays. Like, I was just 12 hours ago, I was on 5th Avenue and 57th Street at the Timberland flagship store dropping a Staple Timberland collaboration. Went straight on the plane. The flight was delayed 7 hours, landed here, came straight to here. Complex Con tomorrow. Like, it's just nonstop, no sleep.
Cool.
Crazy.
Anybody? Yep, go ahead.
I would be someone that cleans ears, because I find that really therapeutic. Yeah, ASMR. I love that shit. Yeah, I do. I love that shit.
Clean ears.
Yeah. Do you not see the YouTube videos where they get all the earwax out?
Is it with candling or no? Something else?
No, it's like they use these weird tools. Oh, I love it.
So crazy.
So the question, just because I don't, for everybody who's streaming it, the question was, if you weren't doing sneaker art and sneaker drawings and working in the sneaker space, what would you be doing?
For sure. I'd do that.
ASMR on YouTube, huh?
Yeah. Or a chiropractor.
I'd probably just be
Why not?
like driving myself crazy, figuring out a new style in like fine art. It's weird. Like, I think about that shit all the time. Like, yeah.
I'd probably just be a teacher, like a full-time teacher at a community college, just like, social studies.
Teaching's fun though.
It is fun.
Yeah,
It's dope.
teaching's
Yeah.
fun.
I just need a camera. This camera, walk around and take photos.
Yeah.
That would be my deal. Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, go ahead. No, we got another streaming question. I'll come back there.
I've actually been following Stomper's journey since high school, and
We used to break dance together.
Like 2 years ago?
no, like way before.
Okay.
And everything he's dabbled in he's been amazing in it. It's such as breaking, skating, BMX biking, graffiti.
Don't gas me up like that, bro.
But I do have one question for you in front of everyone. But, oh, sorry. What is your end game goal, Elmer?
Huh?
What is your end game goal?
End game goal, huh? Just going digital. I like influencing people digitally because it just the amount of reach I can get from being on a cell phone is intense, really. Yeah, that's the end game goal.
In the back, I saw one.
I kind of think creativity is like a skill, like shooting a basketball. Like the more you shoot it, the better you become. So my question is like, what are your tips of like unlocking your creative potential? Like, do you have any tips or? And then also,
Practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
just while I'm here, second question. When you guys have like a creative block, what do you guys do to overcome something like that?
So two things out of the audience for the Q&A. One was a question about how unlocking your creative flow, potential, and also dealing with creative block and what happens.
Yeah, I think just don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the main thing. I think mistakes are really good because you learn a lot from them. And whenever I get a creative block, I do the total opposite from work. So I just leave the desk. I go out for, walks, or I hang out with friends. I do anything that's non-creative and try and not put pressure on myself to feel that creative kind of flow again, and just kind of let myself totally get away from what I'm doing. So that always helps me, yeah.
I say practice. Just keep going, even if it's shitty. Like just keep going. Repetition is the mother of skill. So
Be
you just gotta
consistent.
keep pushing forward, even though it feels like you're going nowhere. Like you just gotta put the hammer down and just say like maybe tomorrow is gonna be a better creative mind space.
Yeah, I think to your point, like it's all about a patience game, right?
Yeah.
Like
a lot of
the
patience.
art of creativity actually wants you to fail. Like it's testing you to see if you'll give up. And so every day if you show up, you're sort of making like a small win.
Yeah,
But the second you
I'd
give
say
up,
I've had 10,000 no's. I've had 10,000, rejections.
Yeah.
And if you can carry on and pull yourself up and just think, no, I'm going to do this,
Right.
then that's what makes the difference between failure and success for me.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
Yeah.
Patience and fortitude.
Thank you. One more. Got one more in the
We got
back.
a lot. They're all brave now.
Oh yeah, 10,000 times. Yeah.
The question was there ever a point in your career where you were discouraged and you were like done over it?
Yeah, all the time.
Every day.
Every day. You always face setbacks every single day. There's always that email that comes through that no, we don't want to work with you, or you don't get a reply from someone, but you just have to carry on and pretend that never happened. That's what I do anyway. So
Keep pushing. Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Really.
Wait, so I want to know for both of you, how many years have you been doing your work commercially?
I've been freelancing full time for 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about
3
you?
years.
About the same.
3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's when I
so
started
this
connecting
is
with Steph,
really
too.
cool to hear because I wanted to stop doing Staple 5 years into doing Staple. And I think with any business, they like even in business school, they say there's like a 5-year hitch when you start a business, where in the 5th year, it starts to get really, really hard. Like I think there's a stat that's like 90% of business startups fail at the 5th year. So something like happens after the 5th year.
Uh-oh.
But
I'm
no,
hitting
it's
my
the
third
ones
and I
that
kinda
go
feel it.
past the fifth year that really make it. And what's weird is that if I were to answer that question, like, so Staple now is 23 years old, just like probably older than most people in this room.
Bitch.
Yeah, but
Yep.
to what's really interesting to hear is that I no longer feel like every day might be the last day, or every day I might quit. Like now, like it's kind of like surfing, where like I've stood up on the board now, and now I'm just going now, and like nothing's fucking stopping me now. Like
Catch the wave
I
and
don't
ride the
wanna stop.
momentum, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But that I know that 5-year itch. That 5th year, I was done. I was really done.
I already feel it at the 3rd year, man. Like,
No, the 3rd year you could still convince yourself that you can keep going. By the 5th year, it's just like pummeling you, and you're just like, stop.
I'm excited.
The trials get harder.
More to come. Yeah.
Word. We have 2 repeats.
We're matching.
I know these are my go-tos.
This, by the way, this is the bane of my existence when I'm wearing someone else's shoe. Like, I'll just go home. Anyone got the hyper adapts? Nobody's got these on, right? Because I will go home and change.
There's a lot of people repping these tonight. I've seen a few pairs.
Yeah,
Mine are just
same.
worn. I've worn them almost every day for 3 months.
I like them worn in.
Yeah.
They look good.
What do you got on?
I got Cinzia Arias. I've been drawing so many uppers, so I came with something a little bit more mellow and simple. And it has a fat sole, just like my art.
Love the fat sole.
Yeah. And I got the latest iteration of the power lacing, hyper adapts. I like them a lot. Why are you laughing at me? My man David had a question.
Yeah.
Can you ask it still? Yeah.
So the question was the burnout. 16-hour days. How do you avoid burnout, and how do you get past that burnout once you hit that breaking point?
For me, as soon as I've completed one piece, I always take maybe a week or 2 to kind of detox from what I've been doing and just kind of gather new ideas, new inspiration of what I can take forward. I think it's very unhealthy to stay in that mindset of work, and you have to take some time for yourself. And I think that's really important as a creative. So I always try and do that religiously. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to take a break because, like, once you start speaking really negatively about your work and the things that you're very proud of, that's when you kind of indicate, like, I'm probably going crazy doing this shit and I hate it. Like, just taking a breather is good.
I don't believe in taking breaks. I don't believe in taking... when I get really, like, frazzled and stressed out, I take 9 breaths. That's it. 9 inhales and 9 exhales gets me over it, and I just keep going. I really think that, like, if you're getting stressed out about something, there is something in your art or your business or your life that is causing the stress. And it's your job to remove that stress. Like I always think to myself, like, imagine your job was like testing hammocks and martinis. Like, that was your job, to test hammocks and martinis. That was your job. 40 hours a week, you had to lay in a hammock and drink martinis. When would you get burned out from that job? You would never. You'd be like, yeah, my job is to lay in a hammock, right? So you need to figure out how to make your work like laying in a hammock. And like, one of the biggest things that I do is, like, once something hits me that is bullshit, my bullshit radar is like so finely tuned that I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. I need to carve that out of my life. Or if it needs to be part of my life, like, figure out who can help me handle that bullshit.
And I think for me personally, that's something I struggle with because I work so much on my own.
Yeah.
So I don't really have that influence from someone else to ground me or give me advice or say, oh, stop freaking out about this. It's super simple. Here's the answer.
Right.
For me, because 99% of what I do is being on my own, drawing, it's, it can get crazy at times.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going crazy, yeah.
Well, the flip side, the negative of that is now you have a staff of 40 people because you've delegated all these parts that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's why the importance of delegating is like a skill that I think I probably need to learn because going crazy is like every day for me.
Yeah.
I recently I did an interview on my podcast with John Jay, who's like one of the greatest creatives of all time, and actually I also interviewed Hiroshi Fujiwara. a fragment. And both of those people are triple OGs, right? And they both said the same thing totally by coincidence. I asked them about like their corporate structure, how many employees they have, and how big their company is. And they both said, I am eagerly trying to get to 0 employees. Like I'm trying to go back down, you know? So I feel like they've hit a pinnacle and then now they're trying to ironically get to where you guys are.
Yeah, reverse.
I guess that's the end goal.
Yeah.
Reach the top and then
go back.
Go back.
back down.
Go back down.
There you go. I think on that, anything else you guys want to add to this? It was great. Thanks so much.
Fun.
Can I give these guys a hand? Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for coming out. There's tacos. There's a bar. And if you're in the book, if you're in volume 1, do me a favor and come up here. I want to get a photo with everybody who's in volume 1, please. Thank you.
All artists to this front stage.
Yeah. Enjoy. Coffee in the back. Thanks.
keys. Pussy dripping ice, he get thrown out to me. Please, I want a man with the beans. Pussy from the bag, I'm on a D.
Go wide. That's so big. Let me show you what the 10-inch does. Nice. That's what you do with the 10-inch. You package other things in. So packaging for the shirt. Mind signing one for We're live here.
I say, what's it how you want to, baby? You ain't got shit on the bitch, you can't make me. I do nothing that you want me to. I'll do what I want to do. Fuck your opinion. Fuck the shit in front of you. I got money, I got millions, I get on that too. I'm a sexy guy,
Live on Twitch. Hey. Live on Twitch here.
Real fucking ride or die. I'ma ride that dick like a stolen car. I got the best pussy that you had this far. Bitch, you know going hard is me. I'ma ride or die, and I don't need that. I'm finna bounce that ass and drop that ass and pop it like a shootout. I pull them panties down, they smiling like they brought the food out. I hop up on their face and make my hips feel like a luau. I should get you, I'ma get you now.
Autograph now. Look at that.
Why? 'Cause I been that bitch. Like I was the back, click a drag and hit the kill switch. Like it ain't problems in my life I gotta deal with. Like I ain't taking one of you. Real handwriting is always so good. I'ma put that shit. I ain't trying to bust it wide cause I been that bitch.
You want to get this on stage?
Drop that ass and pop it like a shootout. I bounce that ass and drop that ass and pop it like a shootout. Bounce that ass and drop that ass and pop it like a shootout. I bounce that ass and drop that ass and pop it like a shootout. I bounce that ass and drop 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 that
No masterpiece. 10 bad bitches and they after me. One bad bitch look like a masterpiece. Looking for a dunk like an athlete. Big drip, what you call it? Ice chain, pure water. You got the cab but can't afford it. You got the bad but can't afford it. Even the beat, I ride it like a jet ski. Some of the bad bitches, they harassing me. They like because I rap and be the athlete. Stop asking me, I know they mad at me. Nah, I've been the coupe, then I slide like it's Vaseline. West Coast 6, punch on like a trampoline. Take a break out, put it on the triple beam. I'm not from Canada, but I see a lot of teams. This Manila, I know how to handle them. Like the candle up, make
Live on Twitch.
Right there, bro. Make them tie the club Took your bitch out the game, I had to sub.
Oh yeah, do it live on Twitch.
No masterpiece.
Go.
10 bad bitches and they after me. One bad bitch look like a masterpiece. Looking for a dunk like an athlete. Big drip, what you call it? I ain't trying to pick up water. You got the can of water. You got your bag, really even start. I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark. I got my niggas cross the street living large. Thinking back to the fact that they dead, thought my raps were the facts, so they sat with the bars. I got 2 phones, one need a charge. Yeah, they twins, I can tell they ass apart. I got big packs coming on the way. I got big stacks coming out to save. I got Lil Max with me, he the wave. It's a big gap between us and the game. In the next life, I'm trying to stay paid. When I die, I put my money in the grave. When I die, I put my money in the grave. I really gotta put a couple niggas in their place. Really just slap every nigga in a race. I really might tap realest nigga on my face. Lil CC, let it slap with a bass. I used to save hoes with a mask in a cave. Now I'm like, nah, I'm good, go away. Ain't about to die with no money out in Davey. I was on top when that shit meant a lot. Still on top like I'm scared of the drop. Still on top when these niggas wanna swap. Niggas wanna swap like it's sauce in a Watts. I don't wanna change cause I'm good where I'm at. Smile tie so I'm always good where I'm at. Word to Junior, Jazzy, Baby J. Tell them when I die, put my money in a crack.
Couple figures, kill a skull and collect. She fuck a nigga, then she on to the next. Really living large, she ain't all with a Mac. When you niggas think it's small, let them all with a rat. Roll with us if you really wanna get it. Go get a $500,000 in the sprinter. Phone ringing bitches know a big tipple. I got the hook up and there really no limit. Damn buckets in you nigga DNA. Ricky Smile is indicated with the A. Little nigga just another state case. Very now I'm looking at the chain back top bounce. Gotta count on my house. So I gotta rewrite it. The nigga dripping like I got $1 zillion. Got the trap drumming like Zane. When I rebound, then I'm on. And I never talk about it. The whole squad, but we always make the loudest. Rich niggas and I'm really being modest. Cause the way I do my deals never treated like I artist on the house. Look at me in my account. My grip 6 figures and I'm counting. 9 figures was the goal till I hit it. These niggas ain't living so very wild.
Well, what you gonna do? Yeah, you can dress, but you still ain't cute. When I turn, my chain go jiggle-lang. A lot of hoes wanna see my digger-lang. I got a new outfit, nigga, stay with a tick. Parmesan house rich, I'm ready to drip. Real street nigga, can't do wrong. Unpaid ticket in the Groupon. Fuck your baby mama, got no choice. Put a car seat in my Rolls Royce. Some of these hoes got no choice. Me down the throat, that's no voice. I'm rich, I'm lit. A bitch gon' suck this dick. I'm fresh, hood. I look good. I look like that. I look like that. I look like that. I look like that. Hey, hey.
That bitch go loco. Slide on a nigga with the fofo. Yeah, the fofo slide. My bitch so loco. She bust that ass like a loco. My bitch go loco. Slide on a nigga with the fofo. I'll put you in a chokehold.
I gotta take a photo of this.
I'll put a track off the shore. I like it when you touch the floor. Call me for dick, not Geico. Call my phone when you're horny. Hey, mama, see the hay, mama, see the hay. Trip too hard, don't John's ways. When she told me that ain't come forgive a little escape. Man, little man, quick I behave. Red lipstick, black outline on it. In cruise when we fucking in your blowing. You want a real nigga, not real shit in motion. I want me to run a mean, the best of us, it all in that. Let's go, let's go. Slide on the nigga with the phone. I love when it's hot. Turn to the city, I break all the knot. Got some more millions that keep me a knot. I created history, it made me a lot. He trying to diss me, ain't eating no fox. We call him Chaucer, cause they got a chop. Took her out of 5 cause of pussy pop. I'm running like Nike, we got it on lock.
I'm the boss man in a suit with a tie. I can be sober, I gotta stay high. People so serpent and pounding and dry. Running this special like Bunny and Clyde. Don't worry, baby, I keep you surviving. She know they zip up and she can't decide. The ladies will say me to go to surprise. Don't sleep on me, lady, her pussy up high. Digging her back while I'm gripping her side. Nigga back, this ain't regular size. Really fly me like Pelican Line. Bitch, you ain't slick, I can tell her the sky. Up bad at my wrist, put her gas in the sky. She sing out my sound, I ain't checking her live. I told her to go and work on her eyes. Everything litty, I love when it's hot. Turn to the city, I broke all the nuts. Got some more minutes, I keep getting out. I created history, it made me a lot. He tried to diss me and it don't fox. We call him Chauncey, cause they got a chop. Check on the fighters, cause a pussy pop. I went in like that, we got it on lock.
Yo, that's what I'm talking about. Just Tapo in the building, homie. All right.
When I was really young, I had to walk to school each day, and I would pass by train tracks. The only time I would ever see art when I was younger was graffiti tags on the train tracks, and every once in a while I'd see the same person but a new tag, and then start trying to read about them or research anything I could, and that's what got me into art. The best way I'd describe the evolution of my art is starting with a training in academic realism and portraiture, as well as landscapes and floral academic painting. Then I left college to go into an apprenticeship with a Japanese tattoo master and learn really strict forms of their mythology and how they draw them, and then how it translates on the human body. And once I left the tattoo world, I started to fuse the American graffiti, classical European portraiture, academic art, and Japanese tattooing. The three pieces I created for this book was a monochromatic black and white piece that was a fusion of lyrics from a Kanye West song, and it reminded me of a time that I was most heavily into the sneaker culture. The second piece that I created was a quote from Michael Jordan, and it was a mandala of lettering in his life. He had missed over 9,000 shots. Of those shots, he had lost so many games, and in his life he had failed over and over and over again, and that's why he succeeded. And my third piece was a pair of Air Force Ones, which to me, other than the Jordans, was one of the first, it was my first shoe that I started collecting over and over again. I had boxes of Air Force Ones that I never even wore, just so that when I scuffed my new ones, I could put a fresh pair on. And since I write calligraphy and graffiti and custom hand styles is a big part of my art, I just started writing and filled in large graphic portions of the shoe to create its own standalone texture. The advice that I would give to any kid that's sitting in his room, drawing anything, interested in that culture, the best advice I ever got was, no one cares if I make it as an artist, and the world will be just fine if I fail and I give up, because you're gonna have a million people saying that to you. And if you're willing to work past someone saying that to you, then you should be an artist. Do what you think is cool. And in the end of the day, that's all you can care about, because everyone else is gonna have a million other opinions. Everyone's gonna have something to say about what you do, and none of it matters. As long as you're cool with it and you like it, go for it, and don't waste time. Just stay in your room and draw 100 more.